James Earl Carter Jr. stands as one of the most remarkable figures in American political history, not just for his time in the White House, but for the decades of humanitarian work that followed. His presidency and post-presidential years redefined what it means to be a leader committed to human rights and global peace. Born in 1924 in the small town of Plains, Georgia, Carter grew up in a rural farming community during the Great Depression. After graduating from the United States Naval Academy, he served in the Navy before returning to Georgia to manage his family's peanut farm. His entry into politics began at the local level, eventually leading him to become governor of Georgia, and then, in 1976, the 39th President of the United States. From the moment Carter took office, he made human rights the cornerstone of American foreign policy. This was a bold departure from the Cold War realpolitik that had dominated previous administrations. Carter believed that America's moral authority depended on its commitment to fundamental human dignity, regardless of political convenience or strategic interests. His administration took concrete steps to support this vision. The State Department created a Bureau of Human Rights and Humanitarian Affairs. Carter reduced aid to countries with poor human rights records, even when they were considered allies. He spoke out against oppression in the Soviet Union, Latin America, and elsewhere, making it clear that human rights were not negotiable. The crowning achievement of Carter's presidency came in September 1978 at Camp David, the presidential retreat in Maryland. After 13 days of intense negotiations, Carter brokered a historic peace agreement between Egyptian President Anwar Sadat and Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin. The Camp David Accords led to the first peace treaty between Israel and an Arab nation, ending 30 years of conflict between Egypt and Israel. This diplomatic triumph required extraordinary patience and skill. Carter personally mediated between the two leaders, shuttling between their cabins, addressing their concerns, and finding common ground where none seemed to exist. The agreement demonstrated that even the most intractable conflicts could be resolved through persistent diplomacy and genuine commitment to peace. Carter also pursued détente with the Soviet Union, negotiating the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks II treaty to reduce nuclear weapons. He established full diplomatic relations with China, recognizing the People's Republic and opening new channels for engagement. He negotiated the Panama Canal treaties, returning control of the canal to Panama while ensuring its neutrality and continued operation. Despite these achievements, Carter faced significant challenges. The Iran hostage crisis, economic difficulties, and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan complicated his presidency. He lost his bid for re-election in 1980, but this electoral defeat marked not an end, but a transformation of his life's work. After leaving the White House, Carter embarked on what many consider the most successful post-presidency in American history. In 1982, he and his wife Rosalynn founded the Carter Center in Atlanta, Georgia. This nonprofit organization became a powerful force for advancing human rights, alleviating suffering, and promoting democracy around the world. The Carter Center has monitored more than 100 elections in countries across Africa, Latin America, and Asia, helping to ensure democratic processes and reduce electoral fraud. Carter personally traveled to conflict zones and troubled nations, using his stature as a former president to mediate disputes and encourage peaceful transitions of power. One of the center's most significant achievements has been its work in global health. The organization led the campaign to eradicate guinea worm disease, a painful parasitic infection that once afflicted millions of people in Africa and Asia. Through education, water filtration, and community health programs, cases have been reduced by more than 99.9%, bringing the disease to the brink of eradication. The Carter Center has also fought river blindness, trachoma, and other neglected tropical diseases that primarily affect the world's poorest populations. These efforts have improved the lives of hundreds of millions of people, demonstrating Carter's belief that every human life has equal value and deserves dignity. Carter never stopped being a hands-on advocate for peace and human rights. Well into his 90s, he continued to write, speak, and travel on behalf of causes he believed in. He taught Sunday school at his local church in Plains, wrote dozens of books on topics ranging from faith to foreign policy, and remained an active voice in public discourse. In 2002, Carter received the Nobel Peace Prize for his decades of work to find peaceful solutions to international conflicts, advance democracy and human rights, and promote economic and social development. The Nobel Committee specifically noted his efforts both during and after his presidency, recognizing the unique scope and impact of his humanitarian work. Carter's approach to diplomacy was rooted in personal relationships and moral conviction. He believed in talking to adversaries, not just allies. He understood that lasting peace required addressing the underlying causes of conflict, including poverty, inequality, and injustice. He demonstrated that patience, empathy, and principled negotiation could achieve what military spoke out on issues of racial justice, women's rights, and economic inequality. He criticized policies he believed violated American values, regardless of which political party held power. This willingness to speak uncomfortable truths sometimes made him controversial, but it also earned him respect as a man of genuine principle. The legacy of Jimmy Carter extends far beyond his 4 years in the White House. He showed that a former president could continue to serve humanity in profound ways, using the platform and experience of the presidency to make a lasting difference. He proved that diplomacy, when conducted with integrity and persistence, could resolve conflicts that seemed impossible to solve. Carter's life embodies the idea that true leadership means service to others. His work has saved lives, prevented wars, strengthened democracy, and given hope to millions of people around the world. He transformed the role of the former president from ceremonial figurehead to active global citizen, setting a standard that future presidents would aspire to match. The diplomat of human rights and peace leaves behind a world changed by his unwavering commitment to human dignity. His example reminds us that one person armed with conviction and compassion can indeed make a difference. Through his actions both in office and beyond, Jimmy Carter demonstrated that the pursuit of peace and justice is not just an idealistic dream, but a practical necessity for a better world.